Good morning, Tarkov. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. I tell you what, I was not feeling good coming up to this stream here today, setting this up. I was wondering, it's like, oh, fuck, should I send a message out and say we're not doing this today? But I feel a little bit better now. As I got the title up there and as I started to get everything together to actually start streaming, feeling a bit better now. So let's just go ahead and just wing it. Let's just go for today and see what happens. But I'm warning you guys right now, I do not feel well today. I woke up feeling like shite. So we'll see how long that I can keep up this energy and whatnot. Now that I have some coffee in me. But anyway, welcome to Good Morning Tarkov. This is the morning show where I discuss something very specific with Escape from Tarkov, and then we kind of turn it into a bit of a Q&A afterwards, just so that we can get some discussion going. And the basis of this is that I do not know what I don't know. So I'm going to talk about a topic that I think is important to Escape from Tarkov, and then you guys will fill me in on your opinions on it, or what you might think of. That is your opinion, so what you guys might think of that topic, and give maybe some thoughts that I couldn't have had about it because I'm thinking of it differently than you. So, and it's much better than just a comment section, because now it's in real time. I'm actually able to have, even though you guys are talking through text, I'm able to have a much better discussion with you guys. So again, this is, or not again, but for the first time today, this goes from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern United States time. We go live for about an hour every single morning. If something cool happens, like what might happen today, but we'll talk about that later, and it should happen tomorrow, then we kind of stay on for a bit, and then I gather all the information that I can, and then I can go make a video on it. Like, let's say we hear some news about a potential podcast, or a potential Nikita showing up somewhere on a stream somewhere for somebody, that kind of a thing. Then we would figure that out, and then we would go off for the day. So it could be extended depending on what happens that day. We haven't had really one of those days yet. We had some cool leaks and stuff, but for those of you guys that are watching on Spotify, because this is on Spotify, apologies, you're not going to be able to see what we're talking about today, but I'm going to do my best, and I'll put maybe some Imgur links or something, whatever you guys, Imager links, whatever you want to call it, in the description for the Spotify link. And any of you guys that were looking for it on Spotify, we are now on Spotify. I still need to update a bunch of the old episodes, well, practically all of the old episodes, and upload them on there. That's a soon TM thing, but yesterday's episode, the day before's episode is up there, and then today's episode is going to be up there as well. So today's topic is going to be the speculative timeline, and we're going to get to that. So let's just see what you guys think about that as we're waiting for people to show up. We already have a bunch of people here, so maybe we can get to it a bit quicker, but let's just say good morning to everyone. So how you doing, Raleigh? How you doing, Tree? How you doing, Hammer? Eamon, what's up? Good morning. Refresh button. refresh button squad. Okay. Will the new hotfix fix the M4 reloading bug? It should be, yeah. So that's what he's talking about here, guys. Let's pull that up real quick. Actually, no, we'll get to that in a second. Let's get the good mornings done. Morning, crackers. Morning, WP. One video with Nikita's answers. We haven't gotten that yet. I'll talk about that in a little bit here. Morning, Maxim. How you doing? Is there a replay system planned in any patch? It is planned. We just don't know what patch. There is. Excuse me. You're gonna need to wait for the raid to actually be over in order to do that. But leave that for the Q&A. Well, let me get my morning stuff done here. Hey, comrade. Hey, Sharper. Da indeed, dudes. Benzie, how you doing? Aaron, how you doing? I don't know how to say this name. I'm sorry. I'm gonna completely butcher this. Belvajte? Hopefully that's not some kind of cuss or whatever in a different language. What's up, Kiriel? How you doing? Da. Yo, what the, yo. Yeah, Dank, there's a Q&A a bit later. I don't know if that's what you mean by the WCF, but we do the Q&A a bit later. Yo. Oh, let's not do the Mizkif thing. Maybe some Asa dudes or something like that. I don't know. My stream lagging big time. Oh, okay. That's actually a good point. I might lower the bitrate from now on because I think there is a bunch of people out there that do get some refresh problems because it is at a unneeded bitrate right now because my bitrate right now is for kind of like gameplay and I don't think we need this. So I'm gonna mess with that. I'm gonna do some test streams on the second channel a little bit later this week if I find the time. But I am going to lower the bitrate. If you guys are someone who has issues with that, we do have the VOD. We have the VOD and we have Spotify, so you are going to be able to still hear what happens, and you should be able to catch up because of how YouTube works. So morning everybody, morning Stammer, Morloff, how you doing, man? Yeah, so we are going to talk about that a bit today, guys. So hope you guys are all doing well. There was something that I wanted to show real quick. Oh, we can do this. So we do have this over here. Boop, 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 boop. So what someone there was talking about was this. Oh. Here, I'll fix this actually. This is what he's talking about. If you guys don't know what this bug is, you haven't played enough Escape from Tarkov because it happens all the fornicating time. It happens all the time, dude. Where I don't think it's just for weapon reload too, but it definitely happens a lot with the weapon reload where your hand, you kind of go Jedi a little bit, and your hand just kind of sticks there in the middle of the air, and then your gun is up. But it's like your character is doing the reload animations, but he's doing like 85% of them, and right before you're finished, right before you're about to put your hand back on your gun, it just freezes there like you're waving at somebody, and then you can't use your gun at all, and it just completely fucks you. One of my last streams on Twitch, I had this happen, and I just the second it happened, I knew like the instant it happened. I didn't even really think about it. The instant my hand just kind of stuck there for like a couple frames, I immediately just Alt F4'd the game. Well, I proned out and then I fucking Alt F4'd. I'm just like, all right, welcome to Tarkov. That is your quintessential welcome to Tarkov moment right there. So, when something like that pops up, and will be interesting to see if they fix that. We'll see. We will see. We will see for sure. So yeah, that's the tweet they just sent out a little bit. And in other news as well, when it comes to stuff around today and tomorrow, according to a very trusted source, there may be a Nikita podcast coming up in our very near future. I won't be involved, but there will be a Nikita podcast, so I'll take it. Also, when it comes to my questions, anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about there, I do have a couple questions, more than a couple. I have 11 questions out to Nikita, and according to a source at BSG that I sent them to, a buddy is probably a better way to, he's a good friend now. Nikita answered them. He answered them in Russian, and then they needed to be translated, and then they needed to be approved after they were translated. Now, I did get an update. About that. They did not approve his answers. So Nikita said something he shouldn't have said, and they needed... I don't know if they sent them back to him. I don't know if they sent them back to him a couple times, because it's been a few days. But the PR guys at BSG said, no, we can't. So Nikita talked a little bit too much, and he said something that he was not supposed to say. So we'll see if we still get kind of like something similar to the answers that we were going to get. All I can say is soon. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we get these. If we get those today, and hell, if there is a podcast with him tomorrow, maybe he answers them on stream. I will take that. It would have been cool to have an exclusive Q&A, but I will take if he answers those questions. That's all I want. That is the only goal. I just wish he answers those questions. Hell, maybe even the questions that weren't approved didn't get like. Maybe they are going to be approved if he does the live stream. So or the cast, whatever you want to call it. All right. Boop, 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 boop. I wanted to learn your name. Nice Guy. It's just Nice Guy. There's an O in there because Nice Guy was taken. The O kind of works a little bit with how I say it with my accent too. So, you know, nice guy. It didn't happen that much actually. Oh, with the reload stuff, it does. If you've been playing for a few years, you'll remember it. It happened enough for you to fucking remember it. That's for sure. Cause it sucks when it happens. All right. All right. We can get to today's topic a little bit here. Let me just take a quick coffee real quick. Quick sip of coffee. So someone just mentioned Simple Jack there. Isn't this Nikita's game? He should be able to say whatever he wants. The reason why they've been hiring all the people, not the better, but they're hiring all the new people for Battlestate games, and the reason why they have the new PR team coming in, not team, but wow, I'm blanking. I'm fucking up my words left and right this morning. The reason why they're making the new hires and the reason why they have the PR people coming in that they have is because there is a proper way to go at these kinds of things when it comes to game development and how to get the information out there so that people don't riot when it doesn't happen, and or if it doesn't happen, because BSG has had a history of that stuff happening. So the whole Soon TM meme has become a thing because they talk a little bit too much too quickly. It's just that, like, a patch wouldn't be ready, a wipe wouldn't be ready, and then they would end up saying, no, it's next week. Next week we good. Next week we have 0.7. Next week we have 0.9. Next week, yes, patch next week, wipe next month, and then something happens and it just doesn't end up happening. So that's what the PR people are here for. Nikita said something that, for all I know, they had a bit of back and forth, and maybe they did. Maybe we are going to see what Nikita said. But anyway, that's all a complete speculation. Let's get to today's topic. In terms of, well, speculation in terms of what could have happened. Theoretically, I should be getting those questions back really soon. So let's get to today's topic. The speculative, otherwise known as my guess, but it's a little bit better than a guess, so I say speculation. We turn the music down just a little bit. Now, some of you might have remembered me talking about this a few days ago, but I literally wanted this to be the topic for today so that people understand exactly what I'm thinking here right from the get-go. So this is going to have a little timestamp in the description and the top of the comments here, and should be good. Should be really good. So we'll move this over on the side here, and then we'll do this here so that you guys can see this. All right, so this is what I'm working with here. You guys should be able to see this pretty well. Let's see. All right. I'm assuming you guys can see this list. You should be able to. Yep, you could. Or you can. All right, guys. So this is my speculation timeline for 2021. And this is how I see things. So we're in May. We should have 12.11 in May. 12.11 could be a wipe based off of the amount of time. Fuck, I should have put the rest of the months actually. Now I say this, it's been a few months since the last wipe. It's been several months since the last wipe. So 12.11. This is where we're at right now. If Streets was going to happen in order, and they want to do a patch every month, that puts Streets in February of next year. But that's not the plan. They want Streets this year. So if everything went according to plan right now, other than it being able to launch this year, it would be February of next year. Does that make sense? Because they want to patch every single month. So they're going to need to accelerate somewhere in here if they want that to happen. Now, what that also means is, what are they going to skip? What numbers are they going to skip? And how far into the year are they going to skip? So, like I said before, we're in May right now. We're at 12.11 right now. And if it were to go with a patch every single month, that's several months. That is a bunch of, we've got, like, what is that, 9 months? It's like 9 months until actually Streets with February of next year, if that ends up going that way. And they don't end up skipping a month, and they don't end up moving that up more. Now, what I think is going to happen, because they're planning on this happening, is this. This is what they've been saying for a while now. It's this one right here. So we're in May right now for 12.11, and this is what I'm speculating on. This is what I've made videos about, and this is the timeline that I think is going to happen right now. I think Streets is still pretty far away, but they do want to push and make sure that it comes out this year. Blurry. Hopefully that's on your end. Can't see. Okay, hold up. This looks way better. Okay, hold on. Not blurry for me. Guys, check your res. It might be a resolution because this is a live stream. If you guys miss it, I don't know if I can. No, I can't. All right, next time I'm gonna put this in Photoshop so I can zoom in. That's my bad. To me, it looks okay. You guys should be able to see it. But anyway, this is just the timeline. Great for me, it looks like okay. All right. Worst case scenario, guys, just go to the VOD afterwards and you'll be able to see it fine. But anyway, so this is what I think is going to happen right now. They want Streets this year, and I still think that we're far away. So like, worst case scenario, but them still achieving their goals, I think this is what's going to happen, and this is what I've made videos about, and this is what I've been talking about. 12.11 could be a wipe because it makes sense based off of everything. If you need to know that more, if you need to know more information about that, or if you want a better explanation for that, go check out my 12.11 video. I explain it fully there. So then what I think is going to happen is something like this, which might not happen exactly like this, but generally speaking, there's going to be some skips. So let's say next month we get 12-12, July we get 12-13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then somewhere they just skip ahead to 13. Could also be something where if this is also what we're talking about for this year, let's say Streets is actually very close to being done. Let's say they think Streets is going to easily be done this year. So somewhere in these months here, Streets can pop up. So I just literally picked the month right in the middle there with September. If they think Streets is very close, then it does make sense for them not to wipe with 12.11. And then for all we know, Streets is coming in July. Streets could come in August. This is even speculation. This is speculation inception here with this because we don't know actually how close Streets is. All we know is that they want it this year. So you guys understanding why I've said what I've said in the past, because this shit's fucking confusing. This is really confusing and difficult to explain my thought process with it. It's much easier if you guys actually want some information. If you don't want the usual, nobody knows when wipe is, so, just soon TM, we'll see what happens. This, if you genuinely are able to comprehend that this is a guess and that you are able to digest this information in a mature way, this is what we're looking at. Because they want Streets this year, and they also want that to be a wipe. If anything, they want Streets to be a wipe. So, if this timeline ends up coming up like this, we can easily wipe this month and have plenty of time until December, hell, maybe even November, before another wipe, and with Streets coming in and with a wipe with that patch. So then that would make 2 wipes total for the year of 2021. Guys, hold that thought real quick. I just think something's going on outside. Hold on. I just heard a crash outside. One sec, guys. All right, apologies, guys. There's a very bad hill very close to my house, and in the last few months, there's been two people that have like crashed and then taken out a telephone pole and like rolled down that hill, and it was really bad for the last two, and I could have sworn I just heard it. I don't know what the fuck I just heard, but there's no crash out there, but I swear to God I just heard a crash outside, so I don't know. I thought for sure I was about to look out my window and see someone else just did the same thing that those two people did. Now I'm out of breath because I was worried. All right, sorry guys. Whew. I thought for sure I was about to see a car crash at that same spot that I've literally seen two people crash before. Okay, all right. I don't know what the fuck that was then. Maybe someone got brake checked, but that's maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was like a trash truck or something. I don't know. Okay, whew. I had to just run out there and see what was up. I wanted to make sure there was nothing going on there. Let me catch my breath. All right. So I think what we were talking about here, I hope everyone understands what I just said before I left there. So let's get back to it. It was a really big hornet. No hornet this time. Anyway. So, completely lost where I was, but so here's the thing. Let's we'll retrace our steps a little bit here, since this is the focus right now. So there's two trains of thought here. There's two trains of thought here where you can either ask someone when wipe and you can get the no one knows, or you can at least get what we think we know about the next wipe and stuff like that. So if you want the no one knows, no one actually knows. BSG probably don't even know right now. Actually, we're getting pretty close. So if it was going to be a 12.11, BSG would probably know, but they're not telling us. Then if you want to go the let's get some kind of information route, this is what we're looking at. So if 12.11 ends up being a wipe, then that gives us several months of possible, wipe cycle before they do meet their goal. They just barely do meet it, but they do meet their goal of having Streets come out in 2021. Now, what could also happen if we do not get a wipe with 12.11, actually worst case scenario, we could not get a wipe with 12.11 and then they still end up, excuse me. So let's say they do this and then they still barely get Streets in. We're looking at literally a year, an actual full-ass year. If this ends up happening where there's no wipe in any of these months and they just barely get so this is why I'm also saying what I'm saying. So let's say they just barely get Streets in for 2021. That is a full-ass year of one wipe. Yeah, that's a huge yikes. I don't know of anyone that would actually want that unless they have no idea what the fuck is going on with the schedule and stuff for Tarkov. So yeah, that actually a full year of a wipe, because the last wipe was in December of last year. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying for 12.11 as well, because I'm also, I'm being skeptical with them being able to get Streets out exactly how they've said they wanted to get Streets out. But then again, they know what's up. They know the current information. They know their progress, all that stuff. And then that's why we have a timeline like this. So like I was mentioning before, maybe we don't get a wipe with 12.11. Maybe we don't get a wipe here in May, but they know that Streets is a couple months away. So yeah, we could really use a wipe right now, but it does not make any sense for them to wipe and then have like 2 or 3 months, at least not right now. They used to do stuff like that, but they're not going to do it now. And then have Streets come out with 13 some point in here in the next few months. Some point like right around here somewhere. Have Streets come out in these next few months. That could totally happen. Could totally happen. Or one thing that I really don't think is going to happen at all, they don't end up wiping with Streets. There is no wipe with Streets. They just launch Streets. And then we see what happens with a wipe somewhere, wherever the fuck it ends up popping up. So that is my speculative timeline right now. If they were to actually stick to the one patch a month right now, if they were actually to stick to the one patch a month, this is what we would look like. We would have Streets in 2022. And to be clear, I do not think that this is going to happen. However, it does actually kind of make sense, because then that leaves us at 14 at the end of next year. So maybe they say 15 is like a release candidate or something. So that could end up like that could, at least it ends up working that way. The math ends up working that way. Because we do end on an even number. We do end on 14, and the release candidate could pop up at least with a new year or something like that. And then a part of that is they want Streets of Tarkov and they want the custom rig system in the game before they can give, and the lore quests in the game before they can give a release date, an approximate release date. So yeah, so if they do a patch once a month, this is what we're looking at for that. So I need to replace this actually, because yeah, so this is, I got rid of that, so this is going to be, and this is what I think is going to happen. And this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. It makes sense for 12.11 content-wise and date-wise to be a wipe. We have next couple months, and then they just barely do, but they still do meet their goal of having Streets come out this year, with it coming out in December. Could come out in November too, and we still would have a few months of wipe for sure too. But if it was any sooner than that, I think this is probably more of the thing that we're looking for here, or more of what we're looking at here. So we have a 12.11, no wipe, and then we've got a couple skipping around, so we go from 11 to 12 to 15 to 17, and then or whatever. Maybe they just straight up skip right to Streets, and then somewhere in the fall, somewhere we get Streets, and then Streets ends up being a wipe. That's also another possibility, because it's going to happen. It's not like, if anyone out there is thinking that the game is not going to wipe again, it's going to happen. They are going to wipe the game again. And since we're on that subject, even after launch, there will be servers that don't wipe, and there is going to be servers that do. There is going to be servers that do wipe periodically. And that's it, guys. That's everything we got. That was today's topic. I'm very glad that no one crashed out. There was not a flipped car outside my house. All right. Boop, 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 boop. So we do this. And that was the topic for today. So, guys, if you would like to take part in the discussion, if you would like to rip me apart for my speculation and all that stuff, make sure you are using what Pires just did there, what Belva just did there, what Sapin just did there, what Zathika just did there, at Nice Guy Space Tarkov. That's going to show up as a bright orange for me. I'll show you right here real quick. See how that's bright orange right there? That shows up, and it's much easier for me to be able to see what you guys are saying there. So we'll head on back so I can answer your questions. Morning, Pires. So what about Lighthouse? Lighthouse is going to be the current plan is Lighthouse before Streets. So factory expansion with 12.11, one of those patches. So like here, I can even show this because I've got this ready to go here. I'll go back over here real quick. So the thing with Lighthouse is that it's after factory expansion, but before Streets. So we're looking at something like, if this is the timeline that ends up happening, because this is what I think is going to happen, this is my theory, Lighthouse would be like in here somewhere. Lighthouse would be like in here somewhere. Hell, it could even come up like a little bit sooner. Or sorry, a little bit later. So if this is the timeline that ends up happening, Lighthouse would be somewhere in here. Because we get factory with May, we get Streets with December, and then we get Lighthouse before Streets. So that would be when we would see Lighthouse. And that's the last information that we have on it. That's based off of the last information that we have on it. Any updates on your Q&A? Yes. So Nikita did say something that he wasn't supposed to say, so they have to edit it. And we'll see if I get it today. So they did not, the PR guys did not approve what Nikita said, so they have to, not that he shouldn't have said something, it's just he shouldn't have said it yet. I'm sure there's some timelines that the PR guys want to make sure they stick to, and so we'll see what happens with that. There's also a possibility that we get a podcast with Nikita this week, so we'll see what happens with that. And you guys, for the latest Escape from Tarkov news, make sure you're checking out. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and in the community section or my Twitter, stuff like that. That's when I'll mention, hey, we do have a podcast with Nikita. Hey, we are going to get this. We are going to get that. There was an interview with Nikita somewhere from somehow and stuff like that. It's 100% going to be made, dude. The game is already ready for sure. It makes sense. So Nick, that's what I have to be super careful with saying stuff like that, because then everyone just gets ready for the wipe in May when it might not happen. So I have to be super careful with how I word these things from now on. So it does make sense for 12.11 to be a wipe based off of what I just explained there. That is my theory. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm not just pulling out of my ass. I'm not even trying to get views or whatever, because notice how every single video that I've talked about this, wipe is not even in the fucking title. Wipe is not in the title. I did that very much on purpose so that when people want to, bitch about it, They say, oh, you're just saying that because you want to get views. Oh, really? Why isn't it in the title? I've said patch. Anytime that I've wanted to talk about wipe, I've said patch. Patch hints. 12.11 hints. 12.11 info. And then in the video, I say it could be a wipe. So suck it. What's your guess for which patch has Lighthouse? Like I just mentioned there. What do you think the chances of them releasing Lighthouse and Streets in the same update? Probably not. Probably not. Eamon. They want the one update a month, but a while in the last 5 months, we just have 2. So if Streets, that's coming up with, there's a lot of that coming up with the pandemic. So they could end up skipping around a bunch too, Maxim. That's why I've done multiple timelines. So we'll see. What is this app? Color scheme. This is just the YouTube dashboard. That's just the live chat. Like whenever I go live, that's just what I see. I see the numbers. I see that there's 243 people watching, 40 likes, and the average watch time is 3 minutes and 53 seconds, which is actually pretty good for a live stream. So I'm glad I'm able to talk for 4 minutes. Anyway, yeah. Do you think maps will release after 1.0? Possibly with the DLC, but I haven't heard anything specific about that yet. In my opinion, actually, scratch that. Complete opposite. I have heard rumors about Skyscraper possibly being a map, or Skyscrapers possibly becoming a map, where those skyscrapers that you see in the background of Streets could be its own location. So we'll see what happens with that. In my opinion, current version numbers have nothing to do with Streets. Yeah, it could have nothing to do with Streets. Although they do want, because 13 is a major like patch, like they want the whole numbers to be a major patch, and Streets is absolutely a major patch. Patch 13 is the Streets patch. They've said that many times. They'll skip around, or they'll add, or they'll do whatever they need to do to have it make sense that patch 13 ends up being what Streets is, because that's what they've said this entire time. There's no reason for them to change that. So whenever it ends up coming up, whether they end up adding more decimals to 12 or whatever, patch 13 is the Streets patch. Feels like the game is not being fixed at the right speed. I mean, listen, man, Soon TM, if you guys are getting frustrated with how things are going, trust me, it's from someone's perspective that really understands this. I really understand this stuff. I've been in the game industry. I've worked in the game industry. I've specifically worked with timing with teams and working with artists and working with engineers and all that stuff. And we had a global pandemic, and they've been increasing the size of their team like fucking 6-fold or whatever it was, because they used to just be a handful of guys, and over the past 2 years or whatever since the Dropocalypse, they've now grown to like 150 or something crazy like that. This is fine. It is fine. They just need to onboard some people. They need to get over a global pandemic and everyone working from home. And not to mention, this shit's just tough in general. It is just tough. This is one of the most ambitious games like ever, especially with Streets. So it's okay. If you are frustrated, take a break, come back. And I've had friends. I've taken breaks for entire patches before. I've had friends that have taken breaks for like years, and then they are pleasantly surprised when they come back. So if you are frustrated, don't just throw the negativity everywhere, because there's already enough of that. If you want to be mature about it, just say you are disappointed, because I think the best way for you to probably do that would say that you're disappointed with the progress right now, because who wouldn't be? There's lots of people I'm sure that agree with you with that. So I'm going to take a break. That's probably the best way that you can do it. I'm disappointed with the progress, so I think I'm going to take a break from the game. That's probably the best way that you can say that. Any speculations on when BSG are going to stop developing Tarkov and start on the next project? When it's done. So I don't know why with that 2028 video, people said, oh great, now they're stopping. I never said they're stopping. They're going to finish Tarkov. Well, stopping's the wrong word. Stop early. They're not gonna, they're not gonna cut off Tarkov at any point. They're going to finish Tarkov. Tarkov is still like a dream game for them. It's not exactly their ideal dream game, because Russia 2028 is the big picture, is the big plan. At least it was for the small team back then, and it still is. As far as I'm concerned, it still is the plan. Or as far as I know, it still is the plan. But they are going to deliver, because if they don't deliver on Escape from Tarkov, guess what's going to happen to fucking Russia 2028? It's going to bomb. No one's going to trust them for 2028. So they need to now deliver with Tarkov. So yeah, and we'll get that release. We'll get the approximate release window with Streets and the lore quests and the custom armor hitboxes. What if Lighthouse is wiping sooner? It could be too. That could be. Oh, fuck, you're totally right there, Pasquale. Ah, you're totally right. All right. Fuck. See, this moment that I am in right now is exactly why I do these. Pasquale, you are totally right. This moment that I'm sitting in right now is why I like doing these morning live streams, because I don't know what I don't know, and it's good to have these fucking discussions like this. Okay, totally possibility. Now, theoretically, that might not change too much. Let's go back to this timeline real quick. That is an amazing fucking point. All right. Now, theoretically, that doesn't change too much from this. So this is what we would end up looking like, except it wouldn't be this. It'd probably be something like, actually, this would probably make more sense. So let's say they, actually, shit, this makes a lot of sense. So let's say they keep this timeline here. And they want, I'll turn the music down a little bit because that's an amazing point. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That is why I do these live streams. That's a great point. I just never thought of that. So let's say they keep this timeline here. And then they don't wipe with 12.11. But they do get Lighthouse. Shit, man, you're right. That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. And then we've got several months. So Lighthouse could, now the timing might be a little bit staggered depending on what happens with Lighthouse. And I do need to get I need to get a hold of myself. I need to rein myself in here a little bit because this is still speculation. This is more than just speculation because I don't have the full information yet. Which is what I was just going to explain. We literally haven't seen anything from Lighthouse. We have not seen, hell, we haven't even seen the factory expansion. We have no artwork. We have no specific information past that there's going to be a factory boss. It could double in size, and there's going to be multiple new exits, one of which is going to be used to get you to labs. So if this ends up happening, we have no information to back this up whatsoever. So that's why we still have to sort of come back to something like this. Because that could be a possibility. Maybe we see Lighthouse like here. Or it would be something like it would end up being something like maybe this. We don't know. It could be any of these because we don't actually have information on Lighthouse. We don't know how... Oh, sorry. This isn't on screen. We don't know how close they are to Lighthouse. But we do know that it's supposed to come before Streets. Amazing point, Pascal, there. I'm going to butcher your first name there, so I can't say it. Joey. I'm just going to call you Pascal. I've seen you in chat all the time. Amazing point. That right there is exactly why I do these streams, guys. Great point. All right. So now we're all over the show here. So this could end up being a thing. Maybe they don't wipe. Maybe they do wipe with Lighthouse, but we don't know. We don't know what's going on. Hell, they could totally just end up saying no Lighthouse. Because it's been 2 months since it's been almost 2 months since they've talked about it. We have no information to go off of. But the last time that they talked about it, they said that they wanted the factory expansion. They said they wanted Lighthouse after the factory expansion, and then they said they wanted Streets. So given that, and seeing how they might want to soften the blow a little bit, and understanding that, I'm starting to wonder if this is more our timeline here. What if we see something like this? And then sometime around here, you know, maybe they do get Streets out, and then they end up skipping, like this ends up being patch 13 in December. Maybe they are able to get Streets out in time. But then that definitely wouldn't be a wipe. See what I'm working with here, guys? It's like the timing needs to make sense. And I sure as shit don't want there to be a whole year of a wipe. I don't want there I don't want this entire wipe cycle to be a full ass year. There has to at least be, 7 months or whatever. So with Streets wanting to be this year, I think our next window is somewhere in here. I think our next window is somewhere in here. Whether we get, and this is the months actually, more specifically the months, not the numbers. Maybe they skip around with the numbers a bit. But I really think this is what we're working with, because I just don't see them doing a full year. I really hope. Oh my god, I don't want to jinx the shit out of this. I'm knocking on wood here. Please don't let there be a full year of a wipe. Please. So yeah, we get factory here, factory expansion. And then sometime in these months here, we see Lighthouse, and then possibly that sure as shit would make more sense. A completely brand new map. However, 12.11 still does make sense as well. 12.11 still does make sense. And then we end up going through the normal timeline with the February release of Streets, or maybe even we get it in December here. But I don't think that we would see it. Yeah, that's cutting it close for between there. So maybe Lighthouse in June, something like that. It's there's a lot to explain here, and I don't want to get anyone's hopes up or their hopes down. But that's a great point, and I'll take a look at this a bit more. We can discuss it again tomorrow. Great point there, man. That's exactly why I do these live streams. Exactly. Great point. All right, I am so behind, so I'm just going to skip ahead here, guys. Sorry if I haven't gotten to your question. Is there precedent for 3 wipes? No, it's too soon. There's no chance in hell they're going to have a 3-month wipe again, and that's what we're working with, right? Because it's May. So we've got 7 months left here in the year. There's no way that they're going to have 2 wipes stuck in that. So best case scenario here, guys, is us getting a wipe in the next couple months, and then we see one in the winter. We see one in November or December with Streets. That's our best case scenario. Or we see literally just one wipe in the year of 2021, and it pops up in July. That's what we're working with. And then we don't get Streets. We wouldn't, and then we probably wouldn't get Streets this year. So that's why it's so difficult to talk about this stuff, because it's just confusing. There's a lot of information to go off of. There's a lot of change information. It'd be really nice to get an update from Nikita. And for those of you guys wondering, we do have that Q&A that we're waiting to hear back for. And there's a possibility of a Nikita podcast this week too. So we'll see what happens with that. Do you think they will add bipods? I don't think I know they are going to add bipods. They are going to add leaning, all that stuff, weapon resting, all that. Low ready, high ready. You don't think Lighthouse and Factory will come at the same time? No, I don't think so. Totally a possibility, because we haven't seen anything. Maybe that's a big surprise. Actually, I can't use maybe there. That would be a insane surprise. We haven't seen Streets, and we haven't seen anything from Lighthouse either. So we don't know how soon they are to being complete. At least sorry, what am I saying? Factory. Did I say Streets there? We haven't seen Factory, and we haven't seen Lighthouse. We haven't seen Factory, and we haven't seen Lighthouse. We've seen plenty of Streets. So at least with Streets, we can sort of see what's going on with it, and we can make some good guesses. We can speculate about approximately what we're working with there. And given what we have seen on Streets, I can completely believe that they're going to have that done by the end of the year. Completely. In fact, I think what the current problems that they're having right now involves something along the lines of it's done, it just doesn't perform well. So they need to make it easier to they need to cut it down a bit on the polygons. They need to cut it down a bit with people's systems for recommended specs on PCs and stuff. Make it a little bit easier. Pump the frames up and stuff and stuff like that. June is literally halfway through the year. I think we will get wipe before end of June, and the next wipe will be around Christmas, New Year's Eve. That is one of my timelines. Yep, Agent. I agree with you. I do agree with you. That is one of my timelines. I found a screenshot of industrial location of hired ops that can look like Factory. Maybe they are inspired. So they are totally inspired, yes, but they have not in the past done a 1-to-1. I was talking to some other content creators in a big Discord the other day about that, about Lighthouse. They thought that Lighthouse from hired ops was going to be Lighthouse in Tarkov, and I just don't see that happening. Sure, the layout could be somewhere similar. Where the pipes are and where the buildings are, and generally speaking, the scale, maybe I think it's going to be bigger than what it is in hired ops, and I just think it's going to be different than what it is in hired ops. But generally speaking, Sure, it's going to look similar. It's going to feel a bit similar, but that is not going to be Lighthouse. That's my bet with that. Where can I see the BSG podcast? Stay tuned because we don't know. It could pop up on Pestily. It could pop up on Red Jedi 7. I think he changed his name to Red 7. It could jump up on one of the Russian streamers. He does a lot of streams with the Russian streamers. It's just right now we have word of a podcast. So if it does end up being somewhere that isn't English speaking, then we have plenty of people that can translate, even mid interview that can translate. So we got some possible streams coming our way, possible stuff from Nikita. So between my Q&A that I'm waiting to get back and the rumor that might pop up this week, we should get something this week. So it should be cool. And that's information. That's not the patch. That's information. So information about the patch is what I was just talking about there. Maybe wipe with quest and lore rework. I don't know. I don't think that's enough on its. It's definitely not enough on its own. It would need to be a location. I think a location adds to that. And I think they're doing a lot with factory, so that's why I think it makes sense. So yeah, I can't wait to upload people to the cloud with the smart MP5. Yeah. Send them to the Matrix. What do you think about EOD? I just bought it, and I feel like I've lost a lot of progression milestones like Epsilon and stash upgrades. Is there another way to get the season pass? Not right now, no, Christopher. You can still get the Epsilon, and the Epsilon is a 2x4, remember. That's different than until you get to Kappa. That's different. The Epsilon is much easier to obtain than a Kappa, and you can get your tank batteries in there. I know you're going to be heavy as fuck, but you can get your tank batteries in there. You can get multiple like propane tanks in there, stuff like that. Aisas, people go and farm Aisas with the Epsilons over on reserve. So yeah, there's still benefit for that, for sure. Quick question about screenshots for your slideshow. Oh my god, I haven't even been putting the slide. My bad, guys. Have not even been putting the slideshow up. Sorry, boys. There's a slideshow. Better late than never with like 10 minutes left. For your side, do you have a preference in type of screenshots? As long as you guys think it's cool, send it. Just send it. If you guys think it is cool, send it. So it's @A_nice guy. Just tweet at me. And as long as it's appropriate for stream, I don't care if it's art that you drew up, that you made. I don't care if it's a screenshot that you took from in game. I don't care what it is. If you think it's interesting, and I don't even need to think it's interesting. I just need to think it's appropriate for stream. If you think it's interesting, tweet it at me, and I'll put it in the slideshow as long as it's appropriate for stream. What is your opinion on VoIP? My opinion on VoIP is that it's absolutely necessary, and I'm very eagerly awaiting it. If you are worried about VoIP, guys, know that Nikita is fornicating terrified of VoIP. Nikita is absolutely terrified of VoIP coming to Escape from Tarkov. However, he agrees that it needs to be in the game. So any of you guys that are worried about VoIP, know that Nikita is going to do right by you because he is absolutely terrified about it, and he does not want it to ruin the game. So he's going to mess with it, and he's going to make sure that they do it right. Is something like loss of hearing when shooting without hearing protection planned? I would have to assume so, especially with some of the higher explosives and stuff, but I haven't heard anything specific about it yet, no. Do we have a date on the Nikita podcast? Is it just... Yeah, no, it's just that it's a possibility. I mean, that's all we have right now. But stay tuned. The second that I hear anything, and I usually hear things very quickly, you'll know. You'll know. I'll tweet about it. I'll put it up in the community section on YouTube. All that. When do you think the Black Division is going to come to Tarkov? I don't know, but I have updated my current thoughts on the Black Division because I don't think it could just come as an NPC faction anymore because of how they're going about it. So if you think about it, some super crazy operator stealthy boys wouldn't wear an armband that says Black Division on it. It just doesn't make sense. So at the very least, there is going to be some kind of cosmetic achievement or something related to that. So My current thought with it right now is I think what we're going to see with the Black Division is something to do with arena or something to do with, they do these competitions for Tarkov too, like people that can make the most money in the quickest amount of time or over the span of a month or something like that. They do like competitions like that. So maybe the people that are like the top 1,000 in the world at something will get like a patch that says that they're Black Division, and then they could say, hey, look, I'm Black Division, kind of a thing. Or maybe we do get something like the Cultists, but Black Division. So they're being super secretive about the Cultists. They were trying to be super secretive about the Cultists, and then you know, people like me ended up fucking that up for them. So maybe they can stay completely quiet about Black Division. Maybe they don't say a word until they just pop up. Maybe we just get completely assassinated by a group of Black Division soldiers at some, or PMCs, whatever they end up being at some point. And it's just a complete surprise because we had no idea about it. Could be a thing as well. Do you play Destiny 2? Yeah, I fucking love Destiny 2. I'm going to be playing the patch that comes up, especially since they delayed the Ashes of Creation NDA. I need to figure out what I want to do with Ashes of Creation. I haven't gotten a response yet about the content creator program, but I would like to play it this weekend if I can. So I need to figure out what's going on with that. So hopefully there's not too much stuff going on with Tarkov. Not hopefully. Like, I want stuff with Tarkov, but I'd really like to be able to play Ashes of Creation this weekend, even though I won't be able to share it with you guys, which is unfortunate, but yeah, I'd like to play it. I love the idea you posted for members earlier. No, Chris, things that I give to members are exclusive to members, so we have to be careful with that. Because I don't want... I think that you guys, if you pay money to support me, you guys are a little bit more lenient, and you guys are a bit more understanding with stuff. So I literally share stuff with you guys that I don't share with the rest of the community. So keep that. I mean, if it leaks, then fuck it. Like, it leaks. Like, if one of you guys accidentally say something, like, whatever, then I'll explain my way out of it. But I just don't want to have to explain my way out of everything that I show you guys. For instance, I fucked up with the Nikita Q&A. So in the future, what I'll do is probably to my members, I'll say, hey, I got this Nikita Q&A coming up. Might happen, might not happen, something like that. Instead of what I did before, which was telling everybody. So that's definitely not going to happen anymore. So, yeah, I would appreciate it if anything that I put up on the member-only stuff stays the member-only stuff, just for the sake of my sanity and not having to explain it to every single person. So we'll see. However, I will say that if it was talking about how Nikita said something that he shouldn't have said, I have talked about that. So I don't know exactly what you're referring to. If it was that, then there's the Black Division armband there, guys. So yeah, they said that the PR guys didn't approve Nikita's answers because they think that Nikita said a bit too much. So we'll see what happens with that. What if the Black Division is a PMC faction unlocked through some form of level prestige? Could be, Xylon. Could be. We just don't know. We have no idea. And with how they're going about talking and doing stuff with the Black Division, I feel like they are, in terms of keeping us up to date with it, I think that's actually going to be, they're not going to keep us up to date with it, is the right way to put that. Like I mentioned with the Cultists, they mentioned them a couple times, and then people like me were able to snoop out exactly what the Cultists were and all that stuff. So if they were going to, it's basically Cultists Part 2, I would think, in terms of secrecy of an NPC faction when it comes to Black Division. I think they want to keep them completely secret until the last second. So we'll see what happens. Or they just end up being an armband and a cool achievement that you can get with Arena or something. So we'll see. All right, guys. We're coming up on 10 o'clock. And again, I'm not feeling that great today. I'm starting to feel not so great. So let's finish up here. Let's finish up strong. So at Night Sky Space Tarkov, guys, hit me with a couple more questions, and then we'll take off for today. Hit me with what you got for a couple more questions, if you boys have any. And again, if you guys missed anything, if you're listening on Spotify, apologies. You're going to only be able to listen, so you're not going to be able to see what we have on stream. But there is going to be the VOD, and maybe I'll get some screenshots, and I'll put them up in an Inger, and I'll put it in the up in the description of the description of Spotify there. We should be caught up. No questions, boys? Going once? Why would Nikita be worried about VoIP? Because of people playing music through it and having it ruin the atmosphere of Escape from Tarkov. Like pretty much what everyone is worried about. And apparently there's some security issues too as well, where if you're using VoIP, people can find your IP address very easily. So obviously that's a very real problem. And holy shit, lots of questions. All right, we'll lightning around this. We'll easily get to 10 now. So yeah, he's terrified of VoIP. He doesn't want it to ruin the atmosphere of Escape from Tarkov with, well, for one, it could be good intentions. It could just be a little kid. Like, if a kid is playing Escape from Tarkov, but he actually wants to, role play or whatever, like he actually wants to play Escape from Tarkov with VoIP, then you're going to be talking to this hardy PMC or this hardy Russian man, and it's going to be a kid. It's going to be, hey, guys. Hey, do you want to go over to dorms? Hey, I'm Bear, don't shoot. Like, you know what I mean? So there's that. And that's completely good intentions. The guy's he's not being an asshole. It's just, that's a real thing. That's like totally going to be a thing. So that's why he's terrified about it. Will they ever make a mobile app to manage? Yes, they're talking about getting the API for that. But if you need something to split the difference, then Veritas has his app. Look for Tarkov Battle Buddy on the App Store or the Android Store or Google Play. Hope you feel better. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a little skeptical about how the rest of the day. I feel like shit right now. I'm a little bit skeptical about how the rest of the day is going to go because I have to do some other shit today. Do you think they should add a money sink to the game to prevent too much money being in game? Technically, Agent Coda, they're going to do that with the launch of the game because they're going to make everything more difficult. We're in a testing environment right now, so they want people to be able to test things. So we'll see what the economy changes around launch about that because I think that is going to be a major thing. If you're not feeling well, just go. No, I'm all right. I'm all right. I just wanted something to talk about. I just didn't want to sit here and not have questions. And you guys definitely got some questions for me. So let me finish strong here. Do you think that the Black Division could have anything to do with the ratings on BSG website? That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, Catboy. That's exactly what I was talking about. So they have those little competitions and stuff. It could be involved with that. Could be involved with Arena. Could be a bunch of stuff. Guess as to when Tarkov Arena could come. They wanted it this year. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. With Black Division, do you think there will be a induction mission to become a Black Division member? I have no idea. That's beyond speculation. That's just complete imagination right there. I have no idea. They haven't talked about it at all. In fact, with the Black Division, like I was mentioning what they did with the cultists, I don't think they're going to say anything. I don't think they're going to give us any information whatsoever. So we'll see what happens with that. Any idea they could safely implement VoIP? I have no idea. I'm not the person to ask about that, but I'm sure they're looking into it for sure. Do you think we'll ever have crossbows and bows? They said no. They said no to crossbows and bows. But we're going to get bayonets. That's the thing. What's your most anticipated weapon for Tarkov? I really like the Scar, and I really like the G36. I just like them in general, so those are going to be cool. Greetings from Germany? Yeah, so then you'll like that I said the G36. Greetings from the United States. House. Yeah, G36 is going to be really cool. Like G36C specifically. What's your idea of a VoIP reporting system? Man, I have no idea. That's going to be a toughie. Yeah, I have no idea. We'll see what's happening with that. Any updates on the 400K patch? Not as of yet, so stay tuned, Logan. There's going to be some stuff happening this week for sure, so stay tuned. Not the patch specifically, but information for the patch. So stay tuned for information around a possible podcast, possible Q&A, stuff like that. What are your thoughts on an expandable medical pouch for the Gamma beta container, and is it planned? Actually, they're planning on doing that for stims, so I think they might add something to do with medical in there as well. They are definitely doing it for stims. RPD when? No idea. I know that they want it with streets, though, actually. Sorry, no idea, because they wanted the boss in the car dealership to have an RPD. Later, Zylan. Have a good one, guys. Or have a good one, Zylan. Do you think that the Black Division could be an NPC faction division that could be on streets as a way of getting rid of extract campers? It could be anything. I highly doubt it has anything to do with specifically extract campers, because anytime Nikita is asked about it, his actual answer is just look for them. That is his actual... Anytime anyone talks about campers or talks about exit campers, Nikita has always said, why aren't you looking for them? Why aren't you more aware? Like, if anything, it's the easiest kill on Escape from Tarkov. He's said shit like that before, because you know where the exit is, and if people are going to be camping it, they're going to have eyes on it. They're going to be waiting on it. So that's what he's said every time. And, he's kind of right. I mean, I hate as much as the next guy if I get exit camped, but, just look for them, forehead. But also, again, with the Black Division, we don't know if they're going to be a NPC faction, but we do know there's going to be some kind of achievement involved with them, or else we wouldn't see that armband with them. Zach Todd, look out future medical videos that I've made to get better information on that. I am so tuned. Appreciate it, dude. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today. I've got a bunch of stuff I have to do today that's going to be cool, but it's stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys up to date, whether it be on Twitter or the community section on YouTube, about anything that might pop up in terms of news, in terms of if I get my Q&A. It seems like usually a few hours after I'm done with my morning stream here, my buddy from BSG usually gets back to me and says something regarding the Q&A. So, hell, maybe we get it today. Maybe we might have a doubleheader. Maybe we can get that Q&A today, and maybe we might see something with maybe we see something Nikita talking to some people tomorrow. Maybe we could see something similar to that, but I don't know. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out today. This was Good Morning Tarkov. It goes from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern United States time every single day that I don't feel like shit. I'm surprised that I made it through today because I'm not feeling well, but hey, we made it. We did make it. So thank you guys for hanging out. And for the latest Escape from Tarkov news, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you missed any point of this stream, it is going to go up as a VOD, and it is going to go up on Spotify. So you can check out the links in the description in a little bit, as well as some timestamps so that you can keep up with the discussion, or you can go to your preferred platform to listen to it. Otherwise, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you very much again for hanging out, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.